You don't realize you're looking at me right now, but you're only looking at my history.
Yes.
You ain't seen my destiny yet.
Mm-mm.
Come on.
Oh, okay.
Come on. It's
Okay.
good.
You ain't seen my destiny. When God sees you, He calls you forward. He calls you forward. Jeremiah 1:5. Watch this. He calls you forward in Jeremiah.
Yes, he does.
This weeping prophet. I used to call him the big crybaby. Jeremiah 1:5, 1:5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations.
Yes.
Oh, so some of y'all, you think you're in church or I don't care. You know what? Here's the thing that I've told a lot of people. You can leave this church. You ain't hurting me a bit.
Come on now.
You're not hurting the ministry a bit.
Nope.
We will miss you sincerely. But you have been designed or called from before you came out of the womb and drew your first breath.
Come on.
He ordained you.
Yes, he did.
And He set you for an appointed time.
Yes. Yes.
That's why it's so important that I tell you that God has to put you in a ministry.
Yes.
You don't get that choice.
Come on.
Not if you really submit it to God.
That's right.
You don't get to say, well, I'm gonna go over here. They got this big campus over here. But Pastor, you just said that I wouldn't be lost in the crowd. There's always a remnant within a remnant.
Right.
What am I saying? You have to be with your remnant.
That's right.
This is a biblical concept.
Yes.
Amen.
Some of you may not have learned this from me before. It's a biblical concept. How do I know? You go back to the division of the 12 tribes.
Mhm.
Come on now.
I have to be with my tribe.
Mm-hmm.
You don't come out knowing what your tribe is. God assigns you
Yes.
to the tribe. Well, I want to be over there with the tribe of Reuben or with Dan. And there's some good people over there. I like to shout, can I go with Judah? Here's the thing. God assigns you before you were even born.
Yes, yes.
Come on.
He already
Yes.
knew what remnant you were going to need to be a part of. Why? Because He knew what was going to feed you, what was going to keep you, and what was going to help you grow.
Amen.
Yes.
Come on
Amen.
now.
Amen. Yes.
Ooh. He's so
God
right.
help
He's so
us.
right.
Yes, Lord.
Yes.
Help us.
Hallelujah.
So when He formed us, when God says, I formed thee, sorry, a lot of spam messages right now. Must be about the connection. So God says, before I formed you in the belly, I knew you, right?
Yes.
God, let me extend this further for some of us. He knew us, right?
Yes.
All right. How many of you believe that? He knew you before you, let me just say it this way. Before you were a seed swimming through a tube, God knew you.
Yes.
I know we did.
This is why I tell people many times when they say, how old are you? I don't really know. What do you mean you don't know? Because I'm of ancient days. People who say, I get a lot of people who think I'm playing. I'm of ancient days. How do you know this? Because I knew God before the foundation of the earth was ever laid. And He knew me. Which is the only reason why I'm trying to get back to the person who knew me, who could restore my identity.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Okay.
Because the moment I took on carnal flesh and the carnal brain, it washed what was in spirit man alone. I'll leave that one alone.
Come on.
Possible lost his mind.
No.
I tell you, read your word. Read your word.
Read your word.
Look, so if you knew me, and this is the thing I began to tell people, and this is about me, okay? So when you're saying, are you talking about somebody? Yeah, I sure am. I'm talking about me. Because this is the thing that I learned, is that if God knew me before I was ever formed, then he also knew about my weaknesses that I was going to have.
Yes,
He knew about my fears that I was going to have to deal with.
Yes.
He knew about my mistakes that I would make, and some of them time and time again. He knew about my scars that, yes, on the surface they're healed, but underneath I still carry them.
Come on.
God knew me before I was ever formed.
Yes.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Many times I tell people, you can't tell me where I'm going unless you know where I've been.
Oh,
That's it. Come on.
You have to know where I've been before you can tell me where I'm going.
Yes, Lord.
That's so true.
So your struggle is not greater than God's purpose for your life.
Amen.
God is not intimidated by your brokenness.
Come on.
Come on.
Mm.
Some of us just have to admit that we're broken.
Come on.
God sees the person who's a believer but still weary.
Yes. Yeah.
God sees the person who's a wounded leader. God sees the praying mother. God sees a discouraged father.
Yes.
God sees a struggling young person.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
Lord.
yeah.
God sees it all.
My
We
God.
may think we're the only ones, but God sees it all. He
Yes.
sees you right where you
Yes,
are.
Lord.
Yes.
He sees the hidden servant that nobody else
Yes,
recognizes.
Oh,
God
Jesus.
sees the person fighting the battles.
Yes.
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 Thank you, Lord.
He sees it all, and all I can tell you is that you're not invisible to heaven.
Amen. Amen. Come on.
Hallelujah.
You're not invisible to heaven.
My God.
You can be invisible to man and be happy about it then,
Mhm.
but God sees you.
Yes, he does.
So those who feel forgotten, there's been many times where I felt that way concerning different relationships. Those who are battling discouragement. And sometimes you don't have to be discouraged by somebody else. We discourage ourselves plenty enough.
Amen.
Ain't that the truth?
Those who are spiritually exhausted. There's been many times in these last years that I would tell God, I don't have enough in the tank. The Lord would tell me the same thing. Dig deep. Dig deep. When I thought I should quit, the Lord said, endure as a good soldier.
Amen.
When I thought that this is the end, I'm done. And the Lord would have no mercy in this sense and tell me, fight the good fight of faith.
Come on now.
Mhm. Amen.
Those who are questioning their purpose.
Mm.
God knows I've been revisiting that more than I probably should. But I've been revisiting my purpose a lot. Those of you who need renewed strength. So the thing is, Sunday I tell everyone we still go to a masquerade ball.
Well,
That includes this church and every other church I've been to. We're good masqueraders.
Yes.
We are.
Mhm.
We refuse to show our weaknesses. And because of that, we're not made strong.
come on.
If you say, what do you mean by that? Because that in itself is a lie.
Mhm.
And a liar cannot tarry in his sight. But when we begin to have open confession, we begin to say, hey, look, I'm going to pull all this off.
Yes, Lord.
When we do what God said, okay, y'all see me through the veil.
Mhm.
You haven't really seen me. You see me, but you ain't seen me through this veil. This veil I use to protect me. This veil I use to protect my status.
Yeah.
This veil I use to protect my calling.
Yes.
This veil I use to run interference. Because I can't have you see me.
Jesus.
Yes.
Ooh.
Invite, I don't know if they can. Pastor Harvey, can they turn on those microphones? Can you turn them on real quick? Can they turn them on quickly? We're going to say to everyone on the internet, we love you. We declare God's blessing, His peace and His favor upon you. You're not missing much at this point. You might be saying, what are you doing? We're going into prayer. And we encourage you to pray at home. You want to anoint yourself with oil, and declare prayer over your life.
Yes, Lord.
You say, what do I pray for? Go back and listen to this word, and you will find plenty to pray for.
Amen. Lot to pray for. Lot.
But to all of you, we'll say good night.
Jesus.
God bless you, and we'll see you again.
Yes, Lord.
And at this point, the word part is done. Some of it, as you can probably tell, is still very emotional for me. And I know that the evening is a little spent